Hi everyone. Okay, today we're going to do the lookup function. Now this is a very rare function to use. In fact, I've only used it once, and it was basically to keep track of a list, a growing list, to see what was the last item. It wasn't anything else, and I don't know that it really is applicable to anything else. So it's actually it's a cool function. Like I said, you need to use it for something if you want to keep track of a dynamically changing list. If your list of like names or numbers or what have you keeps growing and you want to see which ones are the last ones, then this would be a good function to use. Okay, first thing you want to do whenever you're doing a lookup, let's take a look. Well, I have here a list. Let me just show you first. I have here a list. And this is a pretty long list. It's, I think, 300 and something. Yeah, 329 spaces. So you can imagine trying to figure out which one's the last one by scrolling up and scrolling down can get very tedious, shall we say. So one of the ways that we can actually fix that is through the lookup function, but we're going to build the lookup function so you can understand how it works. First things first, go back to the top, and I'm going to actually do an is blank, which basically is, hold on, let me see, is blank. As you say here, whether the reference cell is empty. And for this one, we're going to do A to A. Right? So it's here false because A1 is not empty. But like I said, we have 329. So for this particular function, we're going to implement something called an array formula. It is something that's an advanced function. I'm going to be discussing that in another course. But just for now, just hit Control, Shift, Enter. For a second. Just hit Control, Shift, Enter. And what it does is that it adds what is known as the array formula function. Then when you hit Enter, it fills out all of the different corresponding cells. So we see here that everything is false up until 330, where we're going to see, it's true. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to convert these false true statements into numbers. Now, the rule of thumb is true is 1 and false is 0. So what we're going to do is that for the is blank function, we're going to multiply that by 1. You'll see what I mean. So we do that. Of course, 1 times 0 is 0 and 1 times 1 is 1, so everything stays how it's supposed to be. Alright? So here, you've converted all of the falses into zeros, and the ones are there, so it's great. So far what we've done is that we've done an array formula with we've done an is blank to see if this test of the cell is blank or not. And then we did an array formula that showed us that, okay, we need to actually calculate the array, the full array, without having to do it manually. And we implemented that by doing Control, Shift, Enter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to implement the lookup function. The lookup function takes 3 different arguments. Ooh, lookup, not lookup. Good. Okay, now you have the search key, which is something you're going to be looking for. Then you're going to have the array that you're going to be searching with. And then you're going to have the resulting range. So for this one, hold on, lookup is blank, so I have that. So it's going to be lookup. So what we're going to look up for this particular, let me get rid of this. Okay, for this particular formula, we're going to look up a number that's not there. In this case, we're going to look up, like, for example, 0.5. The is blank will serve as a second parameter because that's the array. And then we're going to have the resultant is a. Okay? And we already see that the answer here is coming up. But let me go ahead and close this off properly. Make sure all is blank. Look up. Alright, and I think that should be okay. Yes. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to look up 0.5 in this list of zeros and ones. When we reach down, it's going to come up to the last 0, and then it's going to look and say, okay, that's a 1. Let's say, wait a minute, that 1 is greater than 0.5, so let me go back to what it was before, and that's going to be my last value in the cell, in this array. So when we do that, as you see, actually let me go back for a minute. Let me switch this to over here. So you can kind of see it without having to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead, copy this. Look up. Alright, so let me recap what I've done here. Now, within the array formula, because we're going to have it look all the way through the array, so that it has to be inside the array formula. So we have the array formula, and we have a lookup, and we're going to be looking up, or we're going to be looking for the value of 0.5 in the list that only contains zeros and ones. Now, what it's going to do is that it's going to take a look, it's going to go through, it's going to go 0, okay, so that's bad, that's good, that's good, that's good. Then when it gets to 1, it says, wait a minute, that's greater than what I'm looking for, so let me just kind of go back to what was there, and that's going to be the last one in the list. And then it's going to actually print out what that number is. So again, here we have it, and just to double check, this is 329, 789, 354 is the last number. Again, this is dynamic. So if I were to put in something like, let's see, let's put in like 205, something like that. Again, you see that this went from 1 to 0, and this number has changed. So again, you can use this for text, you can use it for numbers. If you're doing it for text, you know, one of the best things to test when you're looking for text in an array formula is to test if there's a blank. So that could be, you know, something else. So that could be a function that you can use within that array formula and within that lookup to get the results you need. But again, simple way to use lookup. You just have to kind of build it out little by little and then kind of combine it if it's the first time you're using it. Once you get used to it, if you use it a lot, you get used to it, you can just basically go ahead and do it as often and as sophisticatedly as you need to. But that's it. Okay, thanks for joining me and have a great evening.